Michael Masi removed as F1 race director following investigation into title-deciding controversy in Abu Dhabi. Update: Michael Masi has been removed as Formula One race director over his management of the season-ending Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The Australian was heavily criticised for his handling of the last lap saga that ultimately decided the F1 Drivers' Championship, with Max Verstappen ultimately winning the race over rival Lewis Hamilton in a controversial fashion. The FIA released a statement confirming Masi would be removed from the high-level position, but instead will be offered a new role by the sport's governing body. Michael Masi, who accomplished a very challenging job for 3 years as Formula One race director following Charlie Whiting, will be offered a new position within the FIA, read a statement by FIA President Mohammed bin Sulayem. Niels Wittich and Eduardo Freitas will act alternatively as race director, assisted by Herbie Blash, formerly deputy under Whiting, as permanent senior advisor. Masi has held the race director's position for 3 years and was appointed following the death of legendary director Charlie Whiting prior to the 2019 Formula One season. Earlier F1 race director Michael Masi is still under fire following a controversial season finale in Abu Dhabi last year. The Australian's future at the FIA, Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile International Automobile Federation, remains unclear, as meetings and discussions continue. Following talks at F1's headquarters in St James's Market, London, which included Mercedes and Red Bull bosses Toto Wolff and Christian Horner, there is still yet to be a final decision. Feedback from the Commission on matters raised will be incorporated into the President's analysis, and he will publicly present news of structural changes and action plan in the coming days, the FIA said in a statement. The structural changes were not elaborated upon, however. Sky Sports F1 reporter Craig Slater has said Masi may leave his role as race director and take up another safety-related position. Discussion in the F1 community continues surrounding the safety incident in Abu Dhabi, highlighting the magnitude of the issue heading into the new season. Lewis Hamilton was in a strong position to win the final race of the 2021 F1 season, and ultimately claim the Drivers' Championship, before a controversial safety car helped rival Max Verstappen to victory. The outcome and interpretation of the rules were frustrating for Hamilton, with fans initially questioning if he would return to the sport. Masi has held the role of race director since the sudden passing of Charlie Whiting, who died in Melbourne during the 2019 Australian Grand Prix. At last week's launch of McLaren's 2022 car, fellow Australian Daniel Ricciardo put his support behind Masi. He also noted the influence of F1's recent surge of popularity, mainly due to the success of Netflix's Drive to Survive series. I think the one thing was I feel there is too much pressure on them, to be honest, Ricciardo said. I think the sport in general has a lot more exposure now, which is great in some elements, but it also puts others under pressure who probably aren't asking for that pressure or used to it. It's hard to look back in time and think when the race director or stewards were so much in the media. It's kind of quite unique and unknown territory. Despite the controversial decision, the 32-year-old McLaren driver believes Masi should not be judged on one incident. It already felt intense and I feel everyone should have probably taken a step back, he added. We are obviously all assigned roles and that person is there for a reason, just let them do it. At times there was a lot of interference and I think that made it more messy than it should have been. So less interference in general and let people get on with it, probably with less pressure, and then see what the outcome is. I don't think one event should be the picture of everything. Bahrain will host the opening Grand Prix of the 2022 F1 season from March 18 to 20. The Australian Grand Prix is the third race on the calendar, set to be held between April 8 to 10 following a 2-year absence due to COVID-19.